you know, you described this drop down of the screen and you sort of saw into your father and mother's experience. I'd love to hear from you sort of as you've deepened your practice, maybe some of the experiences or some of the things that you've seen or how you've interacted with life have opened for you. And I know it's a very unique experience for everybody, but you know, I'd like you to speak to that a little bit. That would be lovely.
Absolutely. Actually, I'm really glad you mentioned about expectations. Just before I go into more stuff that I've experienced, that's really important, because expectations actually are the route to all suffering. So
right.
If we don't have expectations, then we can just experience something for what it is. And that's really important. And just because early on I had these kind of experiences doesn't necessarily mean I have more skill at it or anything like that. I mean, anyone can meditate. And if it gives you peace of mind, then it's well worth it. If you happen to get visuals or you get information or clairsentience, clairaudio, or none of that, just a real peace, then it's so worth it. So I'm just glad that you said about expectations. So
wonderful.
Now to go to your question, Simon, I've written 1 or 2 articles about some of these specific instances. One of the articles is entitled "The Cosmic Experience Through Meditation," and what I've found is that there are many different realities, and there are many different dimensions, and within each dimension there are many different frequencies, and within each frequency is a different reality. One of the experiences that I've had is, and I wrote about this, I was able to go to a reality, it's a higher frequency, a higher state of consciousness, and my entire reality reacted to every thought, feeling, or perception that I had in regards to my reality. Meaning like the entire reality was reacting to me as if the reality was totally interactive. And by the way, our reality works the same way. This was just more direct. Everything was made of light, and it was moving and undulating. And as I had thoughts about looking at things, the lights would move in accordance with my thought. If I felt something, if I felt a sense of awe, it flashed. And it was responding to me, literally responding to me. And it was almost as if I was creating this world by moving these lights around through my thoughts and feelings. But maybe even more interesting than that, Simon, when I had done this for a couple of minutes, I got the sense that these lights had sentience, and they actually were telling me, we appreciate interacting with you, but now we have work to do. And so I left that. I was like, okay, and I left that reality. That's one experience. I'll tell you another. There's literally been, I don't know, thousands, and I'm writing a book as well. Some of them are going to be included in there.
I hope you're enjoying the video. And if you are desirous of going deeper within yourself and deeper with me, make sure you check out my meditation masterclass. It is unlike anything. It's pinned in the comments below.
There was one where I went to, it appeared to be like a space station. And as I'm approaching it, by the way, when you explore your consciousness, when you're a consciousness explorer, and I've heard other people say this, as you're moving towards another reality, you don't move fluidly. Like a movie is 24 frames per second, but because it's played at a certain speed, it seems fluid. When you're conscious, when you're doing conscious exploration or consciousness exploration, I came upon this area and I was moving like this, then this, then this. It wasn't fluid. It was like jumps. And I think really what they were, Simon, they were now, and then I was here, now, and then I was here, now. And it wasn't fluid at all. So that often happens to me as I'm projecting my consciousness to different areas. But it appeared to me to be a military installation. And when I got there, I was like, this is the last thing that I want to experience is some, possible extraterrestrial military installation. But as I got there, and this being, very tall, all white, with a black sort of cape, very skinny, all white, no real features in terms of its face, and all communication was telepathy. And he approached me as my consciousness sort of arrived there. And the first thing this entity said was, calm down, calm down, because I was excited that I had gotten to this place. And he or it was telling me, calm down, calm down. And I said, okay, okay. And I said, can you tell me what this is? And the being's like, well, what do you think? I said, it looks like a military installation. I really don't want to see any of this. He said, it's nothing like that. It's disguised. It's actually, any being can come here and realign itself and realign its DNA and heal itself. We disguise ourselves as a military installation so we never get attacked or blown up. But any being from anywhere can come here and get themselves completely healthy. And I could see the machine, and beings were coming by and lying down almost like an MRI tube, and they would get in it, and lights would go off. It was very quickly, lights would go off, and they'd get out, and they would shake everyone's hands and bow and leave, and then another being would come in, all different shapes and sizes of beings. So that was another experience, one that I remember vividly, because I was so fearful when I first got there, because I really thought it was a military installation, and it really turns out that it was actually the polar opposite. It was to heal. So I thought that was interesting. So that's
couple. Thank you. Yeah. So these spaces where you've gone in, could say you've transcended to via meditation, because when I hear you speaking, I've heard many people speak about these different dimensions, not just through meditation, but still, again, the term meditation could be seen as many different things. So, for example, a wonderful man, Todd Akemius, who's spoken with me, a friend of mine in the UK, he does astral projecting, and he does lucid dreaming, and he does a number of different techniques for many, many years, where, he goes to, literally just constantly lays down. He's got a certain light that works with him, and other equipment. Now he's you could say he's a professional in his field. So he's got ways of and techniques of just going out of that body and into another dimension, and that's something that he shares, teaches, and spreads his awareness around the world, and constantly saying to people, look, you're not just this supposed solid human being, and that you're a multidimensional being that can interact and go to multiple places.
Yes.
So one of the things he spoke about once was that he can find himself sometimes going to a sort of same place or similar place. Is that something you found with your process, your meditation? So you talk of this, for example, healing space that you found yourself at, or any of the other dimensions that you found yourself going. Is it now something that you can sort of tune into and you find yourself trying to go back there, or is it more very, very spontaneous and unexpected?
Yeah, it's and by the way, Todd's fantastic, by the way, as you know. I tend not to go to the same places ever, actually. And what I've been able to do over a long period of time, Simon, is I've been able to map out actually a bit of the structure of our multiverse. And there are certain frequencies within this dimension. There's 12 frequencies within this dimension. And then above this dimension, there's 12 frequencies, 12 frequencies, and 12 frequencies. And then it's the end of the second. And then the same thing, 12, 12, and 12 in the third. And there's 12 full dimensions, 36 frequencies or subcomponents within each dimension, and 397 different total realities within the multiverse. So I've actually done a lot of research in this and explored my consciousness and taken notes with each different place that I've gone to. And there are certain realms outside of the first dimension. Everything is non-physical. There is no solidity whatsoever. Everything is in the wave form. And as you know, we exist in both the particle and the wave form, and simultaneously. And Todd is so right that we are so much larger and so much more than just the physical being. We are consciousness having an experience as a human being. But our consciousness is literally everywhere. And one of the things that I do, and I know other people do it as well, when you get more skilled at doing this, you can open up more than one reality at a time. So in other words, it's not just one screen will drop down. You can drop down a couple of different screens. And you can actually be experiencing different realities with our reality, Simon, as the backdrop. And when I first started doing that one of the things I realized immediately is that literally I was everywhere. My consciousness is everywhere, but when you're in the body, you can only really experience fully one reality at a time. And think of a radio. There's hundreds of songs playing all at once. But if you have a radio, you can only listen to one at a time. And realities work the same way. We can only pick up essentially and experience one reality at a time through our brain, fully experience it. But we are everywhere all at once. And meditation, as you said before, whether it's all you're doing is changing the electromagnetic frequency of your brain, which resonates exactly with the Earth's electromagnetic frequency. And as soon as you change that, you can do it through meditation, rhythmic drumming, dancing. Todd might do it with lights. As soon as you change it, it's like turning the dial on the radio. And all of a sudden you can hear a different song. You can experience a different reality.
Right.
And yeah, go ahead.
No. Carry on. Use mid-flow. I just agree.
Yeah. So I've experienced hundreds of different realities. And what I do and what anyone can do is that anytime I go to these places, Simon, I simply state to myself, I retain all information and knowledge contained within this realm. And I can actually feel the crown chakra in the top of my head tingling like crazy because you're in the download and you're taking it in. And the 15 or 20 articles that I've written and the one about the ego that you enjoyed, I really feel have to do with direct knowledge and information that I get from exploring these different realms and exploring these different frequencies and dimensions. And when you start to do that and you come back down, you really start to realize about what's really controlling most people, and they don't realize it, is their ego.
I hope you enjoyed the video. Now, if you are desirous of more of the real you, and less of your conditioned, agitated mind, if you know that you can create a life that you're not leading right now, but you know you can, check out my meditation masterclass. It's pinned in the comments below.